implementation of the provisions of the Act. I accept this recommendation, and we will make sure that our officials are trained to really build up their capacity so that they can deal with these issues as they arise. Number 4, the police are advised to enforce all laws enacted by National Assembly, irrespective of whether there is any memorandum of understanding. This is part of the mandate of the police, making sure that all laws are enforced. We do that as much as we can, but sometimes we go to the point of even arresting miscreants and so forth, take them to court, and the cases last forever. So police are doing their role. The Inspector General, number 5, the Inspector General of Police should put in place a posting policy for the police to ensure that officers do not overstay at postings to compromise their effectiveness. It's a very good recommendation, and as far as I am aware, police officers posted in various areas are subject to a system of posting whereby after a certain period they are removed and taken to other areas. I wouldn't deny that sometimes some officers overstay in certain areas, but we will try to rectify that by making sure that is a robust policy in place so that police officers posted in areas do not overstay. I just have to also add that sometimes it's difficult. You have police officers acting very effectively in areas, you want to move them, the communities come again appealing for them to be allowed to stay longer. Sometimes because of various relationships, we allow that to happen, but I think the recommendation is a very good one. Number 6, that is Section 180 of the 1997 Constitution, call for the establishment of police council should be reviewed by the Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters. It's a good recommendation. These are some of the developments that we expect to have a police council. The documents, when I was police advisor, this was something that we discussed seriously, and it will really improve our performance as far as policing is concerned. The Woolly East District should have a police station to help curb animal theft and other crimes. Like I said earlier, there is a desire to build police stations in many areas, but without really funding, we will struggle to do this. Essentially, police coverage throughout the country is a right of every district, so if we can really build police stations in those stations, we will do that. I really appreciate this. In fact, this association met me at the office of the Attorney General, where they expressed their concern about issues arising, and it was during that engagement that I met with some of them and came about with the trying to secure for them a borehole. This came out of personal relationship with them, I promise, and we were able to deliver one. One is still to be delivered. Resolutions 1, that all reported cases of animal theft since 2017, including case involving the motorcycle caught from an alleged thief, be investigated by the police and be brought before a competent court of law. I must admit that I am not fully on top of this, but I remember this case, this matter was brought up during the discussion at the Attorney General's chambers, and we'll pursue it so that we make sure that this case is dealt with properly. I don't know whether I'm allowed to name a person here, but a person has been named who was adversely mentioned in all the hearings in Woolly and whose license have been revoked to be permanently banned from trade in animals and butchery. The concern of the community was very clear that most of the time when these things happen, he seems to be involved in all of this, and they really decry that his case is not proceeding anywhere. I will pursue this as well. It was of concern to me as well that an individual whose name keeps on coming up whenever such acts are committed is still continue to do this. But we have a system where police can only arrest and take to court if it goes to court. It is left to the courts to decide what they do. Sometimes we have cases pending in court endlessly, and we really suffer going to court all the time, and they adjourn the case for one reason or the other. And that's the situation. So I thought that was the update I can give. Police and the Ministry of Interior is committed to make sure that what we are required to do in terms of maintenance of law and order is carried out to the letter. Thank you very much.
On Order 48.6 of the Standing Orders, and I quote, once again, honorable members, after the statement has been delivered in the Assembly, a period of questions on the statement, which shall last no more than 1 hour, may then ensue. The Speaker shall determine the period taking into consideration the content of the statement, the number of members wishing to ask, and questions under the pressure of other businesses. May I now invite honorable members to ask questions relating to the Minister's statement. Beginning with the member for Kiang West. Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, part of the findings of the committee was police inactiveness to take action against this culprit. Could you kindly tell us what is the action of your ministry against these police officers who refused without any fear of contradiction to take any action against this said person?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's a valid question, and I will task the IGP to respond to me as to why this finding is not dealt with properly. We as the Ministry of Interior cannot be found wanting when it comes to law enforcement. If a person is found wanting, to be prosecuted. We will make sure that this action is taken and we report back to Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Woodley East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you mentioned 7 new police stations that you intend to build. And as you know, Woodley does not have a police station. And a lot of this type of crimes are taking place there. So would you consider putting a police station in Woodley East to satisfy the recommendation that is given to you in this report? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. In addition to the 7 stations, the police are building 3. Yesterday I was talking about Karantaba, and I've explained to the member for Sami that there was a project to build a station in Sami Karantaba, but there was an issue around ownership, and it was really stopped, and they are going to move to another side. We will really consider all those areas that are really not covered in this aspect. And like I said, this new type of police stations would really change the setup in the police stations, and Woodley should be one of them. Could you please engage me on that so that I can follow it up? Thank you.
Thank you. I know the honorable member for Woodley East. That's why he gave his question a preamble to justify the question. You gave it a preamble. Nobody talked about Woodley East in his statement. I let it just go. Honorable member for Busumbala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, the reports reveals that the police do demand for the memorandum of understanding to be signed before they enforce certain laws. Are you aware of this? And what will be your address to this specific issue?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm not aware that police ask for MOUs before they perform certain duties. What I know is that police have a responsibility to act according to the Police Act and other ordinances in place. So if they are doing it, I would like to know where this happened and we can really deal with the issue. Thank you.
Is in the report.
Honorable Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in his deliberation, the Honorable Minister made mention that they are expecting some police stations to be constructed by GIZ, a German company. My question is that hope in your planning of the infrastructure, you will take note of the type of cells you refer to as detention centers, coming from the human rights perspective. As I am in the committee, the size of cells and conditions of cells, hope it will improve from the type that we inherited. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. Honorable Speaker, the type of police stations that we are trying to build will be completely different from what obtained before. As it is, police stations used to have holding areas right in front at the desk where anybody arrested, anybody can see. But now the concept that we have developed, even as advisor, was that people under investigation are given the privacy they deserve. When you are held, you are kept away from the public area. No one can see you except the officers dealing with you. Anybody trying to visit the detainee or suspect will have to first talk to the police. The first persons you see will be the police officers, and then you talk to them, and from there they can lead you to an interview room where you can talk to somebody on the detention. Now you cannot see all other persons there. Yeah, the cells also are not the common cells that we have. We don't want to call them cells anymore. This is a holding area, but there'll be special cells for difficult prisoners or detainees so that they can really be secured. But the places that have been built are well ventilated and well lit and according to human rights standards. So this extends to even prisons, may I just add. We just want to build a new type of prison where inmates are treated not as for punishment, but for rehabilitation purposes. So we give people their rights. I say this because I have experienced detention myself at Janjambure. I know how difficult it is. I don't want anybody to go through that again. So we try to improve the detention centers in the police stations and the prisons. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you. You mentioned police station several times. The issue also happened at the police station. There was this lady that made tribal comments. I took the lady to the police, and as we were talking, an instruction came from top, and I heard the speaker saying, leave him, I don't want to call about this issue. Was it you or Inspector General of Police?
Honorable member for Latrikunda knows well that he is a million miles away from standing orders. But Honorable Minister, are you comfortable to answer that question?
No. No.
It happened in a police station.
Honorable Minister, honorable member, to be honest with you, it's too personal and it's out of the whole,
Point of order.
It's out of the whole fabric of the questions and the response of the Honorable Minister. Honorable Minority Leader and Member for Brikama North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, ever since you received the report, did you discuss the report with the IGP? And if no, why? And does your ministry consider investigating issues relating to inaction of the police?
Indeed, whenever we have communication coming from any quarter, we send our own questions to the Office of the Inspector General, if it is from there, and we expect response from them. Unfortunately, I was caught off because yesterday I came, I was not expecting this. Today I was in cabinet until I got a call that I needed to attend today. I would have come up with more answers. But yes, whenever a query comes pertaining to any of my land departments, I have an interest in asking, and I ask them direct questions, and I expect to get answers from them. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Sani Mentoring.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you've talked about the capacity building for police officers in your response. When do you intend to do this, and how is the funding? Will the Gambia government do that funding for the capacity building, and also the duration, if possible? Thank you. I mean, you've talked about the capacity building for police officers or the servicemen. When do you intend to do this, and how about the funding? Will the government fund this? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have ongoing trainings with the Gambia Police Force and other land departments, DCAF, GIZ, the German Police Support Team, as well as our own local officials are doing all they can to really boost the capacity of the police force. When I was coming to the police force, I came in with a GCE certificate, school certificate. But now you will find that among the police you have people with masters, LLB, you know, and BSc in the system. The police also are looking for trying to change the type of training we have. The idea is to create a police village, a training village where every individual who comes to the service goes for a basic training, and they can now graduate to other types of specialized training. So these are some of the plans we have, and the discussions are really advanced. We are hoping to get assistance from our partners. But it's our concern that we move on. But the police, as it used to be when I came in to the service, and now are completely different. We find a lot of really very good officers with capacity in many aspects. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Minister, according to your report, when some officers overstay, there could be something there. Did you have a posting policy in your ministry?
Yeah, posting policy. The police, when I was a police officers are posted over a period of 2 years, and sometimes they can be given an extended period. This is a norm. Like I said, though, in some jurisdictions, you have a police officer who is very effective in the way he does his job, and the community will come out strongly in support. I can talk about, I think it's Yundum area, a police traffic officer was so active in that area, the community came out, it's your area, and they gave him a motor bicycle, they bought him new uniform and everything. I even built a post there when it was just a traffic checkpoint. So these sort of things happen, and they come with recommendations to the police command and say, we don't want this person to go because we found him very useful. So police do sometimes lean over backwards and really do this, but that is a policy in place to deal with postings. Because the longer some people stay in some places, they become a little bit more comfortable to do certain things. We frown on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for delivering your statement.
Speaker.
Who is talking? Huh? Kiang West, yes. Kiang West.
I want clarification on something.
You want to?
I want clarification on something.
There are people who are, in fact, to speak. We just put it off.
But it's on clarification on what the minister has just...
Honorable member, the time is up for questions, clarifications, or inputs. Honorable Minister, once again, on behalf of the membership, we want to thank you for delivering your statement in response to the adopted reports of the various committees, and to honorable members for your contributions, your very rich contributions to clear some of the doubts we have. Honorable Minister, we will now release you, and thank you very much. Clerk, can we proceed?
Orders 13 and 54. Motion on the adjournment debate. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned signed die by the Honorable Minority Leader and Member for Birkama North.
Honorable members, in accordance with the provisions of Orders 13.5 and 54.1 of the standing
Motion.
orders. Banjo. Honorable member, can I just finish my statement and then I give you the floor? In accordance with provisions of Orders 13.5 and 54.1 of the standing orders, the Honorable Minority Leader and Member for Birkama North will move a motion for the Assembly to adjourn sine die. Before allowing him to do so, I wish to draw the attention of the Assembly to Order 54.3 of the standing orders, which reads, and I quote, during the debate on the motion on the adjournment of a session, no member shall speak more than 15 minutes, except that the Speaker may, at his or her discretion, allow the mover of the motion extra time for his or her reply. Due to the exigency of time, I wish to appeal to honorable members to be judicious in their interventions as well as to avoid repetitive deliberations. Finally, honorable members, I remind honorable members to take note of the relevant provisions of the standing orders regarding the adjournment debate. May I now invite the Minority Leader to move the motion for this Assembly to adjourn sine die. But before I do so, let me hear from the honorable member for Banjul South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move a motion under Section 53K, motions which may be made without notice, a motion agreed by the Speaker to be a matter of urgency. Mr. Speaker, we all know that Parliament work can never be exhausted, and we have had a very extensive session with the SONA where everything was basically debated, and yesterday's session when ministers addressed their various departments. Mr. Speaker, I want to move a motion that we adjourn without debate. Thank you.
Honorable member, it been moved. The Assembly adjourn sine die without a debate. Any seconder?
Honorable Speaker, point of observation. Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Any seconder to the motion?
Point of order.
Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion. Honorable Sao, please behave. This chamber does not belong to you.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Speaker.
All right, it has been moved.
Honorable
and seconded.
Speaker, point of order.
Point of order?
Yes.
Can I?
Honorable Speaker, the motion on cyanide, order 54. 54. Point order 4. 54.
Order 54.
Yes. The minority
Speaker,
leader,
point of order.
The minority leader must be allowed.
All right, honorable member, just take your time, please. And honorable members, please listen to him. Please. Honorable member, order 54 what?
54 1. On the completion of business at the assembly sitting of each session, the majority leader or minority leader, or in their absence, any other member shall move the motion for the debate on the adjournment. The minority leader did not in fact move. So before we go to the second motion, he has to move. From there, he can move her motion. That's the rule.
All right, honorable. Yellow. Honorable members, honorable member for Central Badibu, I did make a statement. I made a statement that the minority leader would move a motion for the assembly to adjourn Sinai. And there was a motion tabled, and the motion was tabled. Even if it passes, it will not prevent the minority leader from moving a motion for the assembly to adjourn Sinai and be seconded. That has to come. So I don't know what are your fears. What the motion is saying, no debate. But the motion for the assembly to move Sinai will come.
I want debate, so let's vote on the motion.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that this assembly is to stand adjourn Sinai without debate. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
No.
The ayes have it.
No, division.
Yes, honorable member for Central Badibu.
We call for division.
Honorable members, now we will count. Honorable members, we will count those in favor and those against. Now, those in favor of the motion, please raise your tags. We've got the figure. Honorable members, those against the motion, please raise your tags. Honorable members, the results of the votes. Those in favor, aye, 20 votes. Those not in favor, the noes, 12 votes. So the ayes have it. I will now invite the Honorable Minority Leader and Member for Brikama North to move the motion for the Assembly to adjourn Sindai without a debate. Honorable Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion for the adjournment of this August Assembly.
Honorable Minority, just give me a chance. Honorable members. Honorable members. Thank you. Honorable Minority.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move for the adjournment of this August Assembly, signed in accordance with Orders 13.5 and 54.1 of the Standing Orders. Honorable Speaker, aware that this August Assembly began sitting during the second ordinary session, can you please? Honorable Speaker, aware that this August Assembly began sitting during the second ordinary session from the period 5th June to today, 22nd June 2023, and further appreciating that this August Assembly has during this session dealt with almost all the businesses scheduled in the agenda. I invite support for this timely motion. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, throughout the deliberations of the Assembly during the second ordinary session, the Assembly considered and adopted records of votes and proceedings of the daily sittings as required by Order 35.2 of the Standing Orders. Honorable Speaker, considering sections 77.1 and 4 of the 1997 Constitution and Standing Order 24, and this Assembly's quest to ensure greater scrutiny and accountability towards the executive, we continue the hospitable but thoughtful interaction with the executive. Receiving His Excellency the President of the Republic, who attended a sitting and addressed the Assembly on condition of the Gambia and policies of the government and the administration of the state on Thursday, 8 June 2023. In a similar deposition, the Assembly administered oral questions and answer session with honorable ministers as it concerns their respective portfolios, departments, agencies, according to Standing Order 41. The honorable ministers appeared before this Assembly to answer orally to questions asked by honorable members, for which the honorable ministers were duly notified. Honorable Speaker, I note and commend the appearance of the following honorable ministers. One, His Excellency the Vice President and Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Honorable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Energy, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Minister for Health, Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education, Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture, Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Honorable Minister for Defense, Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Honorable Minister for Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Minister for Lands, Regional Government, Honorable Minister for Transport Works and Infrastructure, Honorable Minister for Interior, and Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment. On a similar note, and pursuant to Standing Order 100, the following Honorable Ministers presented replies to the following parliamentary reports. 1. The Honorable Minister for Health replied to the report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Health, Disaster, Humanitarian Relief, and Refugees visit to some health centers, regional health directorate, and disaster support areas across the country from 29 June to 6 July 2022. And to the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture, who replied to the report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Tourism, Arts and Culture, to visits to the tourism sites across the country from 17 to 25th October 2022. 3. The Honorable Minister for Interior's replied to the report of the National Assembly Standing Committee on Public Petitions on the petition from the Woolies Animal Protection Association on Police in Action, Stop Animal Theft in the region. Honorable Speaker, this August Assembly witnessed the tabling, consideration, adoption of the following motions. 1. Motion for the ratification of the Constitution of the International Civil Defense Organization, July 2018, led by His Excellency the Vice President, and 2. Motion to ratify the agreement between the Government of the Republic of the Gambia and the Government of the Republic of Turkey on military training cooperation, led by Honorable Minister for Defense. And 3. Motions for ratification of revolving line of credit agreement between the Government of the Republic of the Gambia and Badia for trade finance facility for importation of petroleum products, food and other essential commodities from African and Arab countries, amounting to a tune of $50 million US. The financing agreement between the Government of the Gambia and Badia for the University of the Gambia project, phase 2, amounting to $16 million US, and the financial agreement between the Government of the Gambia and Islamic Development Bank for widening of Battle Hardened Highway project, phase 2, amounting to $15.31 million US, all tabled by Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs. And motion for creation of new CFO districts in West Coast region in line with redemarcation of constituencies order 2015, section 58.2 of the 1997 Constitution and section 133.2 of the Local Government Act, passed by Honorable Minister for Lands and Regional Government. Fifthly, motion on the State of the Nation Address 2023 by His Excellency the Vice President of the Republic. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, in terms of bills, this August Assembly consider and or pass the following bills during the session. 1. Legal Practitioners Amendment Bill 2023 and Intellectual Property Bill 2023 by Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, who read for the first and second time. And 2. Labor Bill 2023 by Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment has also gone to the consideration stage, read a third time and passed. And 3. Anti-Corruption Bill 2019 by Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice at consideration stage, but suspended. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the following reports of the undermentioned parliamentary committees were considered and adopted 1. Report of the Select Committee on Agriculture on financing agreement between the government of the Gambia and the Islamic Development Bank on the regional soil fertility mapping project amounting to $1 million, March 2023, by Honorable Chairperson of the Committee, and 2. Report of the Select Committee on Regional Government Lands, Ombudsman, and IEC to rural councils from the 5th to 10th October 2022 by Honorable Chairperson of the Committee, and 3. Report of the Standing Committee on Public Enterprises on the Performance Audit Report by the Auditor General on provisions of water in urban and peri-urban and provincial growth centers by NAWIC and Management of Social Security Funds by Social Security, March 2023, by Honorable Chairperson of the Committee, and 4. Report of the Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters, visit to decentralized facilities across the country in September 2022 by Honorable Chairperson of the Committee, and 5. Report of the Select Committee on Environment and NGO Affairs, oversight visit to fish landing sites across the country in October 2022 by the Honorable Chairperson of the Committee. 6. Report of the Gambian delegation to first ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament held in Abuja, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for the period 8 to 26 May 2023 by the head of the delegation. And 7. Report of the Select Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, nationwide visit to intervention sites in September 2022 by the Chairperson of the Committee. 8. Report of the Select Committee on Gender, Children, and Social Welfare, spot check to pediatric maternity and lab wards on Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital and Children's Center in Bakote from 13 to 14 February 2023 by the Chairperson of the Committee. And finally, report of the Select Committee on Education, Training, ICT site visit to selected educational institution, Naga, Pura, from 11 to 16 October 2022 by the Chairperson of the Committee. Finally, Honorable Speaker, today, this August Assembly is here to commence the motion to adjourn sign and die. I have had the opportunity on the last adjournment debate to speak on the trust and confidence bestowed on this Assembly by the citizens, with its corresponding expectation, and assure citizens that it is well within the notice of this August Assembly. Through this motion, I wish to reiterate this assurance to fellow citizens. Therefore, once again, I would like to seize this opportunity on behalf of both halves of the Assembly to assure citizens of our beloved country of the unwavering commitment of this August Assembly to serve the supreme interests of the nation diligently, without fear or favor, affection or ill will of any kind. This Assembly takes special notice of the continued public outcry on allegations of corruption in public offices and the special attention placed on Anti-Corruption Bill 2019, which recently has still once again at the consideration stage. It has been more than 3 years, and understandably, this August Assembly understands the frustration of the citizenry on the slow progress of this bill. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, collectively, we can overcome the economic, security, and other social challenges we face as people and nation. In our national conversation on all matters concerning our beloved country, most especially on matters of security, we must, as people, especially National Assembly members, be cautious in our public utterance because the implications will be enormous. As we look forward to celebrating the Tobaski, I call on all citizens, especially businessmen, to be considerate and fair in their dealings with the state. All persons should desist from price hiking overpricing, and all over exploitative maneuvers that are detrimental to the welfare of the people and the state. I call on the executive to stay awake to realities of the plight of the citizens in terms of economic, social challenges, rising crimes, unexplained deportation of our citizens from several European countries, the post-state of the sporting facility, deteriorating education, agricultural sector, growing agitation and impatience of citizenry for meaningful and realistic security sector reform. Honorable Speaker, while I thank fellow honorable members for foresight and dedication to duty during this session, I must, like in the previous session, challenge all of us, individually and collectively as an assembly, to reflect on the need for stronger commitment and dedication to the principal functions of this legislature. We must remind ourselves that notwithstanding the diverse and sometimes cumbersome engagement members are faced with, we cannot negate our core functions, especially as it relates to attending sittings. I therefore once again call for renewed commitment by all of us to the service of our beloved republic. It doesn't speak well of this assembly's repute to lack quorum at any stage of its sittings. We must continually reflect on our duty and execute it with the highest diligence. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, thank you for the manner in which you have continued to handle the affairs of this assembly competently and professionally. I pray that Allah the Almighty grants you the strength and wisdom to continue steering the affairs of this assembly. I equally extend the same appreciation to the Deputy Speaker for competently deputizing for you severally during this session. Thank you. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I also would like to appreciate the Clerk of the National Assembly, his deputies, table office, and the entire staff of the National Assembly Service for all the support and services rendered to honorable members during this session. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader. Any seconder, the Honorable Member for Old Yundum and Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I equally rise to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me thank the mover of the motion, the Honorable Member for Brikama North and the Minority Leader, and the seconder of the motion, the Honorable Member for Old Yundum and Deputy Majority Leader, and indeed all honorable members. This brings us to the end of this ordinary session, but the committee oversight works continues. Before putting the question for this assembly to adjourn sine die, I wish on behalf of both sides of this assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic, for his well-delivered statement to this assembly in his State of the Nation address during the course of this session. Equally, honorable members, on behalf of both sides of the assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, register our appreciations to His Excellency the Vice President and honorable ministers for their cooperation during this ordinary session. I also wish to reiterate and express our thanks and appreciation to the media fraternity, our friends, as they are the medium through which the work of this assembly and its committees reach the people. Your cooperation and partnership is indeed valuable and is always cherished, and we hope it will continue. Honorable members, once again, we are indebted and grateful to the clerk and staff of the National Assembly Service for their continued and invaluable services. Honorable members, happy Tobaski celebrations in advance to all of you. Honorable members, I now put the question. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned, sine die. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stands adjourned, sine die.